Hayes looked into the alien's eyes. Yes, because every time we fall, someone stands up. A doctor in the ruins. A soldier who protects instead of kills. A reporter who tells the truth. A mother who refuses to give up. Dr. Lin smiled softly. There is always one candle in the dark. That's how we survive. Veller walked to the screen. He stared at the burning city, then at the crying child. I came to learn about war crimes, he said. I thought I would hear numbers and facts. I did not expect to feel sorrow or shame. Hayes said, now you understand. War crimes are not just laws broken. They are people broken, souls lost, futures burned. Veller looked at him. And yet, your kind still moves forward. Yes, said Hayes, because we must. Veller turned to his team. Then we must keep listening. Hayes walked to the center of the room. You've seen chaos. Next, I'll show you something different, something older. A war so cruel that it gave birth to the very idea of a war crime. Veller asked, older than the last World War? Hayes nodded. Yes, a time when there were no rules at all. No cameras, no trials, just death. Naro said, what war was this? Hayes looked straight at him. The first. The lights dimmed again. The screen turned gray. Smoke filled the images. Men in old uniforms, mud up to their knees, eyes full of fear. Machine guns, gas, silence between screams. This, Hayes said, is World War I. It began in 1914, over 100 years ago, but its pain still echoes. Veller leaned forward. The word felt heavy. Why did it start? Hayes replied, one man was killed, a prince. Then, countries took sides. Alliances pulled the world into war. It was supposed to last months. It lasted 4 years. Millions died. The screen showed trenches, long, muddy lines across the land. Soldiers lived in them for weeks. Rats crawled over their feet. Shells exploded overhead. Friends died beside them. Dr. Lin spoke, her voice quiet. They called it the Great War, but there was nothing great about it. It was suffering. Cold, hunger, fear, and new weapons. Veller asked, new weapons? Hayes tapped the screen. A cloud rolled across the land. Yellow, thick, and deadly. Gas, he said. Poison gas. They used it to kill silently. It burned the lungs, blinded the eyes. It didn't care who you were, soldier or civilian. It floated with the wind. The aliens looked horrified. You used gas against each other? Naro asked. Yes, Hayes said. All sides. It was legal at the time. There were no rules to stop it. Dr. Lin added, after the war, we saw what we had done. Men coughing blood, skin burned, eyes gone. That's when we realized there must be limits, even in war. Veller's voice was tight. So this was the beginning of your war crime laws? Hayes nodded. Yes. This was when the world began to ask, is everything allowed in war, or is there a line? The screen changed again. Soldiers dragging wounded men, doctors crying, families waiting for letters that never came. War had always been cruel, Hayes said, but now the cruelty was larger. Machines replaced swords. One bullet could kill 10 men. One shell could destroy a town. Naro asked, why did they keep fighting? Because they didn't know how to stop, Hayes replied. Each side waited for the other to break. But no one did. So they kept sending more men, more weapons, more death. Dr. Lin looked at Veller. They called it the war to end all wars, but they were wrong. Veller said, and the people who used gas, were they punished? Hayes shook his head. Not really. Some were blamed. Some were shamed. But no trials. No prison. Back then, war was still a place with no rules. Dr. Lin added, but it planted a seed. The world began to understand. If war had no rules, then anyone could become a monster. Veller stared at the screen. So rules were born in pain. Yes, Hayes said. Rules don't come from peace. They come from suffering. The images showed something different now. The end of the war. Soldiers laying down weapons. Flags being lowered. Cities in ruins. We made peace, Hayes said. But it was not strong. It was angry, bitter. We punished the losers too hard. That mistake helped cause the next war. Veller looked surprised. So peace can be a mistake too? Hayes nodded. Yes. If peace is not fair, it becomes fuel for revenge. Dr. Lin tapped the screen one last time. A photo appeared. A graveyard, full of white crosses, stretching beyond the horizon. 10 million soldiers died, she said. Millions more wounded. All for a war that many didn't understand. Veller whispered, and the civilians.